Yeah, we're back. Liverbird Lounge after Monday. First of all, we will go into the details of the parade. But first of all, obviously, terrible incident happened on Monday. Monday afternoon / evening, where a car did run into a lot of people. Thankfully, everybody seems to be okay, and it doesn't look like there's any fatalities. But what's your take on it?
Yeah, just like to say that obviously we're thinking about everybody involved in that. After such a day of joy and celebration, for that to happen was just dreadful. So our thoughts are still with everybody who was affected by it, and from what I can gather, everybody seems to be recovering well. So that's a good thing, obviously. And our thoughts are with those people who were involved in the incident. We were the next street along.
Yeah, it could have happened
at the parade, so it could have happened to anybody there. So thoughts go out to all who were involved, and thoughts go out to all the emergency services and the people who helped with it as well. Puts football and everything else into perspective when something like that happens. So our thoughts are with everybody involved in that on Monday. So that's what I'd like to say before we start talking about anything else. So thank you.
I'm not going to go into the details of the whole incident, because it's I want to keep it PG sort of. So I'm not going to go into every detail of what's gone on. But thoughts with everyone that has been affected by this, and let's go on to a bit more of a positive note. The parade.
Yeah.
It was marvellous. Well, there's a bit more of an adventurous side to this story. The whole train station fiasco, coming to Liverpool.
Great word, fiasco.
On the train.
I love the word fiasco.
We're gonna go into
Good
all of that
word.
later on, so don't stay tuned in to hear all the details about what happened going to the train station and coming back later on. But first, we're going to talk about the parade. We got into Liverpool from the train, and it was just red everywhere. Red.
Yeah,
and
we got off the train at 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
At Lime Street, and that was 2.5 hours before the bus even set off, and already then it was just incredible. Just getting off the train, you could feel the atmosphere. You could just feel it.
Yeah.
It was just, you could feel something special in the air, and it was incredible, absolutely incredible, even at that point. So, then from there we had a walk through into town.
Yeah.
And even outside the pubs, outside Ruby Blues, we were stood there for about an hour. And it was just like a massive party going off. And this was 2.5 hours before the parade even started. Yeah. So just an incredible day.
Yeah, it was a really, really, really good day. The weather wasn't
No, the weather
good.
was absolutely dreadful, but that's an English bank holiday Monday for you. So, we should really have expected that was going to happen. Yeah. Absolutely torrential rain pretty much all of the day, but didn't really matter.
Yeah, you had a flare. You on someone's shoulders.
I did get a flare, got a bit carried away. Guy stood next to me, insisted that I get on his shoulders, wouldn't take no for an answer, but that was fantastic because I got to see a bit better view of what was going on around us. It's just incredible, and I can honestly say I have never ever seen anything like it in my life. Never seen anything like it. It was just awe-inspiring, just unbelievable to witness. I'm so glad we were there to experience it.
Yeah, definitely. Before the parade, they were people predicting or estimating, if you like, that there was going to be close to 1 million people there. We've actually seen this morning, or was it like yesterday or this morning, that there was actually 1.5 million people at that parade on Monday. and that's incredible. That's crazy.
I believe that I've read this morning, and again, it's only what I've read, that it makes it the biggest parade in the history of England. It was just incredible. But what I will say is that everybody we came across were great. Everyone was in great spirits. Everyone was really friendly. You know, there was people sharing stuff.
Yeah.
There was people helping people up lampposts, up road signs, up traffic lights. You know, people giving each other beers, all that sort of stuff. There wasn't a cross word said between anybody at all during the whole day. People you'd never met before talking to you, and it was just a really amazing atmosphere. Absolutely incredible. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it as long as I live. Either.
Yeah, obviously the day before the parade there was obviously the game against Crystal Palace. Not going to talk about the game too much, but the celebrations afterwards, obviously the trophy lift itself. Not going to talk about any Trent stuff because we don't really need to. We don't want to. We don't need to. But the trophy lift was very, very good. All players lifting the trophy. I do have to say though, we kind of thought. I've looked back on the video that I filmed, and we thought at the time that the parade bus went a bit fast, but now I've looked at it, it was actually not going that fast. Because obviously there was just flare smoke everywhere, it's just red everywhere. And I was recording, I was here, and I looked to the right side of me, like just filming the flares, and we could see the bus like go past, and it like if you blinked, you might have missed it.
Yeah, I mean, in a funny sort of a way, the buses coming past was less memorable than the hours before it on the Strand. Like you say, it was just a sea of red smoke, and it was like, oh, there it is. There's the buses. I was only able to pick out really Anna Slot and a couple of players. I think I picked out Canate,
I got Canate.
Robbo, Harvey Elliott.
I think I got Kelleher.
But I suppose by that point it wasn't really about that. It about the day of celebration and joy. It was just like a massive party. It was unbelievable.
It was unbelievable. Crazy stuff. There was a drone flying about near the Liverbird building.
Saw several drones.
There was like footballs being kicked up and headed into the air. There was all sorts of stuff. Paddy the Baddie came out onto a balcony just as we were leaving.
He did.
That was something I didn't think I'd see. That was a surprise. It was surreal, if I'm completely honest. There was a banner from the Anfield Rap. I can't remember what it said. I think it said,
We're never gonna stop,
yeah.
Which we were stood right in front of.
Yeah.
Which was, I've got a lot of time for the Anfield Rap.
Oh,
it's
definitely,
absolutely ace. I love it.
Anfield Rap's
it's
smashing.
the one. It's my go-to for Liverpool content. So it was good to get stood in front of that. It just everything. There was just something going on everywhere you looked.
Yeah.
It's hard to describe what it was like to people who weren't there. You can see all the photos and the videos. Obviously, there's hundreds of thousands of them on social media over the last couple of days. But it doesn't do it justice that when you're actually in it, it's just
amazing.
Indescribable.
Yeah.
It's just like nothing I've ever experienced before. I've been to hundreds of gigs, amazing gigs and things over the years. I've been to hundreds of football matches over the years, big football matches, but I've never ever experienced anything like that we experienced on Monday.
Yeah, it was really good day, smashing day, apart from the obviously serious incident that happened later on that day. But apart from that, the rest of the day was very, very, very good. We were stood on the Strand, and there was people. I saw something. It was like I don't know if it was like behind us. I don't know if it was like a bridge or not. There was like people sat on that. It was like a sort of bricked.
Yeah. I don't think it was a bridge, but I know where you mean. Yeah. Sort of along the line where all the shops are, where the Tesco Express was, and the Travel Lodge and all the rest of it. I think every vantage point was taken up. There wasn't a set of traffic lights, a lamppost, a road sign that somebody wasn't on. It's just, I've never seen anything like it. I can honestly say I have never, ever experienced anything like that. No other club does things like that. It's unique. It's absolutely unique. And I would say that we're coming to that point where we're talking about transfer rumours and who's going to sign and this, that, and the other. Literally, if we get a player there, just show them that. Yeah. Just show them the footage from the parade and say this is what This is what you can get. This is what you're coming to if you come to Liverpool, because there's nowhere else like it. I don't care what anybody says, what any other rival fan says. There's no other club that does it like that. Absolutely unbelievable. Yeah,
and I just want to go back on that transfer rumour thing. Basically, any player like Caicedo or Lavia that's rejected us in the past, it's a bit foolish, because this is what you can get if, like, you come to Liverpool. You get that, and it's amazing. And
sorry, mate. When I've just realised when you mentioned Caicedo and Lavia, and you said earlier on, are we watching the conference final tonight? I thought you meant the National League Conference final for a minute. I thought, why does he want to watch that? I've only just sort of twigged now that it's Chelsea and
Real
someone
Betis.
else playing in the I thought you meant the Conference League, the non-league, but there we go. Anyway, crack on. Sorry.
Yeah,
what a bulb.
Bit of confusion there. But yeah, marvellous day. We were with our two friends.
We were.
Yeah, Marcus
and Rain.
Yeah. It was very, very enjoyable with all four of us there. We had a pint before we did all like the parade stuff. Obviously, I had a non-alcoholic drink. I had a lemonade.
Few pints.
Yeah, a few pints for him. I had a lemonade, obviously. Incredible day. We got off the train station. Could I just say how many people were in Manchester wearing Liverpool shirts?
That was the bit that surprised me. So obviously where we are, in Cleethorpes,
we live in Cleethorpes.
We're the end of the line.
Yeah.
So we got on the train at 8:25 at Cleethorpes station, and there was quite a few Liverpool fans on the train.
That many at Cleethorpes.
And as we got further west, there was more and more people getting on. By the time we got to sort of Manchester way, on the train was absolutely rammed,
full of Liverpool fans.
And I remember saying to Marcus, I said, well, at least when we get to Manchester, there'll be nobody getting on.
Yeah.
And the platform at Piccadilly was literally full of Liverpool fans. Absolutely flummoxed by that. Again, shows you how big we are. We're just massive.
It shows you how big.
Every train station, the platform was full. They literally couldn't let any more people on the train.
A woman screamed because she needed to get a flight.
Needed to get off for the airport. Yeah. There was literally nowhere to move on the train. Couldn't get to the toilet. Couldn't get out your seat.
Literally couldn't get to the toilet.
Absolutely unbelievable scenes. But the Manchester thing absolutely blew my mind.
Yeah,
Doncaster, Sheffield. You would sort of half expect a few at Doncaster, Sheffield.
Not that many.
Not at Manchester, but I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Insane. It was insanity. I remember looking out the window because I was sat next to the window, and I remember looking at it, and I could see at least 25, 30 people just wearing Liverpool shirts, and there was more than that on the Manchester platform. I just thought, what the heck, should there be this many Liverpool fans in Manchester? And it was crazy. I think there was like a few Liverpool fans at every stop that we stopped at on the train.
There was more than a few.
But
the first sign that the train was going to be absolutely rammed, like I say, few at Scunthorpe, few at Doncaster, and then when we got to Sheffield and saw the platform at Sheffield, it was like, wow, here we go. Thankfully, we'd been on the train from its starting point, so we had seats and all the rest of it. So the journey down there was okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna just say one more thing on the parade. The parade was, before we go into the nitty gritty of the whole adventure in Liverpool. Amazing day, apart from the weather. People, it was a joyous occasion. Songs were being sung. We went into this pub that was just full of Liverpool supporters. Before we went, before we made tracks to the city centre, we were opposite this boots shop in Liverpool that was, as you said earlier on this episode, there was just, it's like the street was just full of Liverpool fans. There was buses, cars trying to get down the street, and you just couldn't. There was people banging on buses, there was flares being set off, there was songs being sung, and it was mental.
Just amazing.
Best occasion.
I'm so
really
glad that me and you were there together, Ev, to experience it along with Marcus and Reen, because
shout out to them.
It's a shared experience for us that we'll never forget. In it, it's life's about making memories and experiencing things,
and we definitely
that's
did make one
there with one of my best experiences ever. And I'm just so pleased that we were there together, mate. It was just fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was an amazing day, an amazing occasion. And now we're going to go on to the part that I've been excited to tell about the story. So, when the parade had finished, it was about, 5 something?
I think the bus come past us about 5:25, 25 to 6.
Yeah, something like that.
And we were ready to make tracks back to Lime Street, because we knew that Lime Street was going to be busy.
Yeah.
Our train left at 19 minutes past 8, so by the time the bus had come, that was giving us like 2.5 hours to get back to Lime Street and get on the train and get home. So I was quietly pleased that we had that time, because I was getting a bit panicky about if we hadn't seen the bus and we could get back to Lime Street. But I said to Marcus, it's not even 6 o'clock yet, we'll easy make it. So
we went,
little did we know.
That's the next part of the story. We all wanted the toilet, so we went into this sort of restaurant pub type building to get to a toilet, and then we came back out, and then there was just this massive queue of people, and we didn't know why. We just thought it was just a mass of Liverpool fans. That's what we thought, and it was just a massive queue of fans trying to get on trains. That's just what we thought it was. And then as the queue progressed, it was like every 20 minutes we were moving either 2 or 3 foot. It wasn't much at all. And then that's when we heard that there'd obviously been a car that had mowed into Liverpool fans, and that's why that's possibly one of the reasons why we had to wait for so long. And then there was like threats to like the train station, well, as allegedly, and they closed all the shutters on like the train station, and
left one entrance open for that amount of people. It was just crazy.
It was madness. We had to wait basically. We had to wait. I am not like having a laugh at all. We were waiting in this queue for 5 hours. 5 hours. And it was we were there from about 6-ish to like
about 11:15 we finally got in the station.
11:15. And there were people banging on the windows of a train station. There was people just... You thought it was going to get into a bit of a scrap at one point, didn't you?
Well, there's lots of people getting agitated, weren't there? Which is understandable, really. It was absolutely peeing down with rain. People were freezing cold, soaking wet. And I think the thing was, I mean, it was nobody gave us any information. Nobody knew what was going on. Nobody knew why we couldn't get in there. Nobody was telling us anything. It was just... but like I said earlier on, after what we found out later, it puts it all into perspective. And I suppose it's just another bit to add to the story of it all. Lots of it on social media over the last couple of days about the as you called it, the fiasco at Lime Street. Not never ever seen anything like that. 5.5 hours in a queue, and then our train had long gone. And the best we could do was getting a train to Manchester. And Reen's wife, Heather, thankfully, God bless her, picked us up from Manchester. Otherwise, we'd have been stranded all night. So, absolutely unbelievable scenes at Lime Street. So pleased that you weren't a younger kid at this point, because that, you know, a lot of people there were kids in distress. A lot of people suffering from hypothermia and stuff.
There was
just
people
mad.
with them like silver sort of metallic sort of blanket things on.
Yeah, it always reminds me of after the marathon, when people get them on after the London Marathon. So yeah, lots of that going on. Just an absolute debacle.
We as we finally got to the entrance of like the train station, there was like police like barricading us from getting from getting us into the trains, and they said that we had to go round to like another entrance.
Yeah, we thought we'd finally got to the end of the queue, didn't we? And they'd even closed that entrance off.
Yeah.
Again, for me, it was that nobody told us anything.
Yeah.
Nobody knew what was going on. Nobody had any idea, even when we got inside, what train we could get. It was just shocking. You would think that they would have been more prepared for it.
Yeah.
But you could
with
tell
a million people going.
You could tell they weren't prepared for it when the train we was on only had 3 carriages. So, no, it shouldn't have been a surprise to them. But like I say, you've got to put it into perspective.
Yeah.
Didn't spoil what had gone before it, which was an amazing day.
Yeah.
And really, against other events, it was just a bit of an inconvenience, really, I suppose. So, yeah, it's one of them.
Yeah.
It's a story to tell, isn't it?
Story to tell the grandkids and the kids. But yeah, we were. It was a weird one, because we got to Manchester. And we got off the train at Manchester. It stopped off at a few places. I thought my back was going to come out through my crack at one point. Genuinely, that will be bleeped.
Good.
I thought it was actually going to come through my my rectal area at one point. Genuinely, I had cramp everywhere. My legs were hurting. My joints were stiff. I couldn't move anything, and we weren't moving fast at all. It was like 20 minutes between like each time we moved, and it was only 2 or 3 foot, so it wasn't like we didn't cover much distance. But yeah, we finally got on a train, and we got on a train to Manchester. And then we'd had naff to eat all day, so I got some paprika walkers and a twirl. You also got some paprika crisps. So yeah, we stopped off at the.
Keep everybody up to date of what we had to eat, won't you, mate? Yeah.
Yeah, we obviously got onto the Manchester Victoria station, and then it was about sort of 1-ish in the morning when we'd been picked up by Reen's wife. Shout out, by the way. Amazing. To come from Cleethorpes to Manchester that late at night, massive recognition for that. Yeah, and then we finally got home at about 4 in the morning, going down the motorway, and it was just a crazy night. Crazy. You've had a kip in the car.
Yeah, I did have a kip in the car.
I nearly fell to sleep on Marcus' shoulder a couple of times. I had to keep myself awake. I couldn't get to sleep. But yeah, it was. And then we finally got home at 4 in the morning, and you woke up at about 3:30 that day.
I did on Monday. Yeah, I had a bit of a lie-in
on Tuesday. You mean
Tuesday?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm all still disorientated by it all. Yesterday was a really, really strange day.
Yeah, it was really
I didn't know what was going on. Didn't know what day it was. Didn't know what time it was. I woke up and I thought, best get up. It must be about 11, 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
And no, it was 3:30. So
yeah, it was a day to remember, definitely. But yeah, we'll end that one there.
Might have left the key in the door. I just need to see.
Right, yeah, okay.
Excuse me.
I'll end the episode there. If you enjoyed the episode, you know what to do. As always, which means like, subscribe, turn those notifications on. I'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, thank you. I'd just like to say, Ev, thank you so much for an amazing day.
Yeah,
I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
We've been on some great days out, but that
topped it.
That topped everything, I think, for me anyway, and it was just so good to have you there with me.
Yeah. Thank you for this one.
You're welcome,
Peace
mate.
out.
Peace out.